we do have a quorum. We have the three of us and Randy on Zoom. So that means we can probably get through these real quick. Debbie has volunteered to take notes. And I just sent out a correction to the last minutes. I had just cut and pasted into an old set and I hadn't changed where the meeting was or who was at it. So you did just receive an updated copy. It is corrected on the minutes that are currently now saved as draft minutes. So any questions on those? Randy, you can just yell at us if you have any concerns or questions. You did take the minutes, so I'm gonna assume that you're good with them.
I can chat.
So, or you can type in the chat. So that takes us real quickly right down if someone would,
I motion to approve the minutes.
Jamie,
Second that.
perfect. I'm sure you were gonna be busy doing that. So, Greg, any updates? What do you got for us?
So we did hire the new park maintenance supervisor. His name is Ben Loomis. He's come on, it's a couple weeks now. So we're excited to have him. So he basically replaces Andy Carino's position. So very important for the park. So excited to have him, get him on board. Probably the most exciting thing, this is my exciting highlight. So at pickleball court at the Out Park, it's kind of where we're at. We've got the foundation. I did meet with the company that's doing the top of them and the striping as well. So they're gonna be out marking and hopefully we're gonna get this moving along really quick. So hoping to get some of your guys' thoughts on a couple of things here as we talk about it a little more, but we did have a successful season at the parks. The YMCA camp gave us some statistics that we'll look at. And then kind of our next big event is the Halloween at Out Park event, which is, I think I have a little pulled up here. Well, so hoping, you know.
Just quick on that pickleball. So Jared said they're hoping to, I saw his little online video. So is that, what's your projected time for that to be finished?
So there's a window, so it's like, the minimum is 14 days from the time that top asphalt layer.
Okay,
Would be a certain type of asphalt, or there it's 14 to up to 28 days, so. At that point, then it can take the seal topper that we need to put on it, so that's the thing, I don't have an exact date, and then
Yeah.
of course, they gotta come and insert the concrete post and get those in as well. So that's what he's trying to mark today, and some of the discussions I was hoping to have a little bit with you guys for the orientation of the courts, because there were a couple, since it is basically it's 61 by 61. We said 60 by 60, that's good at 61 by 61. There's some discussion, do we want to put a fence around it? Or the guy that came really thought, he's like, I really like the open feel of this. And he suggested that we just have berms, like 4-foot berms on the ends where the courts, where the nets are. Cause he says the ball doesn't, it's not like if you put it on a tennis court, then you need a big net.
That's what I was
or a big
envisioning,
fence.
yeah.
Those aren't gonna go very far and the berm kind of stops it. And he says it's actually really nice in a park setting because people set up on the berm, they'll set up, you know, picnics and all kinds of stuff while they're waiting to get on. And it'd save us a lot of money. We're purchasing a fence. But then that questions what would the orientation of the nets be? So here's, I'll throw another one in. So the basketball court to the side. I asked him what's the chances of us putting the pickleball striping, you know, because you can do multiple things on a court, right? And he said, absolutely. And so we measured it out. And actually the basketball court right to the side of it there could take up to 3 pickleball
really?
courts there. So if we did stripe all 3 of them, that would give us a total of 5 pickleball courts right there in that area. Of course, you can still play basketball as well, so we strike for that. And it was a very reasonable price. He said roughly he's thinking $500 to $600 per one of those to do it, which I really like that idea. So, but the courts being right there, because my initial thought was that we would have it just the way the basketball court is oriented. So we would be looking at the court going across in this picture.
So east-west? So you would
Yeah,
have
east.
courts running this way?
Well, originally we were going the other way.
Oh,
So
north-
that's
north
which is
south?
on the east, but that's
So-
kind of,
Parallel to the basketball court or perpendicular?
we were gonna have the court go across. Like that. Like this,
Yeah,
which.
I like that.
Yeah,
Cause the berm, if the berms are behind it, then you can still see the court from Outhouse Road. If they're there on this side, it kind of blocks it out, doesn't it? Do we want it to be visible?
well, that's exactly it, so if we do the orientation of the courts that way, then the berms would be
Yeah,
on the ends.
yeah, I don't know.
What do you guys think? It's really, there's not a wrong answer, it's just.
I like that, I guess the only thing is sun an issue or not? Looking into the sun for one
This
end.
is East and it's not exactly,
Yeah,
it's pulling it
yeah.
up, it's kind of a little bit. He looked at it as well, actually, from the map and said it really doesn't matter, it would be a preference to us.
Never played
Way that the
pickleball,
court-
so I don't know.
But the way the courts would be over here would be oriented, get the three on the other direction. I don't know if it matters or not, but my instinct, just looking at it, was to put it just across that way,
Yeah.
but with the
How,
berms.
how far between that and the basketball court? What's that distance?
I don't know the exact, not real.
About the width of this room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that ball's gonna go flying very far.
No, and he just thought that would make it feel less, keep it more like flow in the park and,
Yeah.
cause you know, we do have the other bocce ball court. And
Has he done courts before where they've done a berm instead of nets? So it
Yeah.
is,
and which is
Okay.
interesting that he would do it because he'd be subcontracting the fence, so it was a suggestion he really felt.
yeah.
He kind of lit up, he was like, I think that's a good one, there's a lot of the work we could do.
And then we would just mow the berm, it would just be grass and,
Mm-hmm. But we do have, we are getting the quote for the fence as well, which we were thinking black vinyl fence with one entry in between, because there's a 10-foot distance between the two courts. And we just enter right in the center if we went that way, but ever since I guess I was sold on that, because then there's also I guess a new hot trend is there's a small fence that goes up the middle in between them, so that the ball doesn't go over to the other courts.
Mm.
It's all really just preference, and I do have, it was under budget, so I have extra money. You're gonna say how much, probably roughly around $12,000, so.
well, it'd be a lot easier to take the berms out later. If they didn't work and put a fence up, then to have the fence and then have to rip that down because it was awful or it.
Exactly, and we could do all of that work, you know, which would make it very minimal.
Does it drop off back there towards the path on the backside? Would you
It
have to
does,
bring more
they-
soil in if we,
They raised this up
yeah,
so that it would be elevates the water runoff with a slight grade. I think it's
Okay.
very minimal 1% stuff across here. But if we did, that's the other thing with the berm, is we'll go, you know, the water going off, but we didn't think about that, but it's currently set to drain. I did quickly talk to Highway and they don't think that it would be a problem, you know. We just would have to consider that. Put a little swell between the berm and wherever we put it, but just something to think about. It's really opinions of in the feel that we want. I think his face read that he thought the berm was a good way to go and certainly more cost effective.
If that's something that they do, I don't see any problem trying that. I mean, I didn't realize that. That was an option. I just assumed you put a fence up and.
Yeah, I did too, actually, but he was just saying, because when it hits it, it just goes up and then it kind of rolls back,
Yeah.
you know, stops it from going way off, because it. But if it was a dual court of some other sort, then we would put a fence for sure, but like we'd have it at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then the second thing, since he mixes the colors, we can pick any color we want. Thoughts? So traditional is blue and green, and kind of town of Canandaigua was kind of blue and green color, so that's the traditional. But you can make it any color we want. If we don't want to be traditional and be wild, we can.
Crazy. So I was trying to
I-
envision the town sign.
I'm just wondering if we just stick with, I mean, what would be like if they were setting courts up for a tournament? You know, I mean, I don't know, what does Sonnenberg have? Do they have the traditional,
It's just
Yeah.
green over there, yeah,
Yeah.
kinda just, but this would be two-tone.
Yeah.
Blue, like, he pretty much does the two-tone out, the courts, I think are green and then maybe blue around. But he's done blue, he showed me like blue and purple or, like different things, that he's done. I mean, they all look nice, it's,
And we'd paint the basketball courts too, this same, or would that be just lined and not?
it would just be lined. He doesn't I did ask about topper, but we just sealed the basketball court, so he said his professional opinion, we shouldn't do it within 2 years, cause whatever he puts will bleed
It's
through.
gonna, yeah,
So he said if we wait 2 years because it was just recently sealed, then we can go in and put a nice topper on there, restripe it with everything and be great. Like
yeah,
a new court.
I think we do these two courts now and,
Mhm.
see what the demand looks like before we worry about, I would hate to put posts in the basketball court.
Oh, no posts. Well, those are set up where they're temporary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so people, like, you can buy like,
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
Rink's got a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
So,
just. it may-
yeah, I think
my
the
thought-
berms,
Yeah, the berms, and my thought was maybe if we wanted to do one on the basketball court and see how it, right in the middle, see how it
And
goes.
just the lines though, for
Yeah.
right now, yeah, because then you could see if there's like. Who's trying,
Well,
is there a fight over, no, it's basketball, no, it's pickleball.
Yeah, how popular is it? Like,
Yeah.
if we can handle it with just these two courts.
right,
because there's.
I guess I'd rather even wait on striping the basketball till we
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
demand.
It's-
That's our only basketball court, really. I mean, there's Pierce Park, which,
Or on, there's.
so,
And the Pierce Park is
Yeah.
in the parking.
but
lot.
at
It's changing.
Outhouse Park, there's basketball, there's pickleball. Let's see if we get, right across the street, there's pickleball at Baker Park. So there's a lot of pickleball right there. So,
Yeah, so.
yeah, I would say let's wait on striping that until we see a demand. Are we gonna need to worry about reservations and things like that for the courts now?
I don't think so unless it becomes a problem.
Okay.
You know, people are excited.
Yeah, yeah,
And coming out, because I think it's gonna take some of the stress and pressure on Sonnenberg, I mean, crowds over there, so. um, But exciting, good stuff, so I guess we're leaning towards traditional colors and.
yeah, I don't have
No.
any, yeah,
And a berm, I think it looks nice in the park like that, I
Yeah,
don't think we
like-
want it to be obnoxious by any means,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
Yeah,
So is that supposed to be finished this fall, or is this more about spring?
No, like, and it should be done,
Within 28 to
yeah.
35
I didn't know how
days.
much longer after,
Oh.
I mean, I know you said it had to settle for, I didn't know how much longer it took to put in
Yeah,
the.
when they would start working.
As long as we don't get any real goofy weather,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it does have to, that's the thing, there's a temperature regulation
Yeah.
that it has to be at. Can't rain obviously on the
Yeah.
day of, so there are weather things, so. But he feels confident that we can get it before, and he wants, we got in on the time and get it done,
Yeah.
so. That's exciting. Halloween at Outhouse, so as we know, we mentioned that they weren't doing it at Ononda, so it's been switched to Outhouse, and it's actually very exciting, using the east side, Motion Junction and Outhouse Hall. We're gonna be doing trunk or treat in the field, we'll be pulling the ability for them to get to the inside, so it doesn't take our parking spaces up. For extra things, they've purchased a magician that's gonna be doing a show, but as well as walking around, wildlife meet and greet with the wildlife rock stars. Dance storytelling events, we have the Motion Junction concession stand that's gonna be open. They're gonna purchase popcorn free for everyone for there. And of course, the playgrounds are there and the natural settings that we have for the kids to play in. And so it should be really, really good. So with the events, we have right now somewhere around 20-ish plus 4 or 5 dedicated town folks that are gonna do the trunk or treat.
and they do have parks registered to do a trunk or treat, the Parks Committee?
No, we didn't. But we sent the email, but. I didn't
Oh,
get a
okay.
Confirmation.
Oh, yeah, we're in again, just same as we always had a cabin, we'll do a setup.
Okay.
Um,
All right, well, I'll add that to the list, so, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun, I mean, as long as the weather holds up,
Yeah.
because. But we do have the overhangs, Motion Junction's a big overhang, we do have the hall, and we did let people we told them they can put small tents up in case of
Well, that would be my vision for parks is to put up a pop-up tent. I mean, similar to what we had down at Ononda last year with a pop-up tent decorated. I mean, we really didn't use the cabin. I just thought we'd do the same thing. We'll find a spot, pop up a tent and decorate it. And will the events committee provide like straw bales and things, decorate like they did before?
Yeah,
And a
we have,
scarecrow and,
exactly, we have
Yeah.
boxes and boxes of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and then they do have some funds to purchase other things, but I don't think there's so many, there's between the two.
yeah.
Unless they want something specific, new, which they could.
We do have a tote here. I don't know if maybe you could check with Lindsay with our decorations. We've stored them here.
Okay.
Things we decorated the tent with, just put them all in a tote and
Okay.
they were stored here, maybe in that,
Yeah,
in
they
there
would be
somewhere.
back there, then.
Yeah.
And then, so it probably says Parks.
Parks and Rec Halloween decorations on it. Yeah.
So we'll pull those out. So we're gonna be pulling those out and starting to store them at Motion Junction, because we have the storage room to the right, and the overflow will go into the bigger room where we keep our supplies. Or we do have our trailer that we could go park out there and put stuff into if we need to. I think those would be fine. Well, it's coming along pretty good, pretty excited about that. I think it'll be good.
So you're good with letting events know that Parks and Rec will do a booth? We don't need to fill out the form, the town form.
Well, there is that vendor application, would be good if someone fill out, because we're making everybody else do it. I think I can send it to you, Mark. Don't-
Okay.
I mean, it's just that's just the only form we have, so that's what we're.
Sure.
using.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, if you sent that, that'd be great.
I'll do that. And so updates on trails, still the Auburn Trail, yes, I think you mentioned this, that they raised the price, so we weren't able to get our last easement through there, very disappointing. And so I guess I'm gonna have to relook and talk about, is there a possible different easement, which there are, because there's more potentials for that, but that did not go through like we wanted it to. But Ocean Junction, we're dealing with the degradation of the rubberized surface area out there. Actually due to seal it, but with it being, basically in litigation, we're trying to say, whether we should do it or not, but it kind of, it degranulates and it can't get a slippery surface, so kind of one side would like to get it done, so it
Yeah.
will seal that up, but we don't want to mess with any of the warranty stuff either, kind of thing. But it has to be done within 5 years. We're about 3 years into it, but Pierce Park, we did get the award project for the crumbling foundation, and hopefully we'll be able to get to that prior to winter. He's just trying to fit it into his projects list, so. Non-park, we have closed the uplands because as of this week, the big construction was done. So uplands has already been winterized, and we started winterization preparation for Ononda. We're hoping to do some of the facility updates of the buildings that we've been talking about, try out some tongue and groove cedar on the inside of some of the facilities to see how that goes. I think most people are very excited about it. Some like the traditional graffiti walls, but I think most people like the upgrading there.
Well, I think focus on just one, get one done and let's see how it looks and see what people think. And that was funded through the donation
Right.
from Holden's, right? Okay.
Just some pictures, but that's not the new stuff, but
I drove up just before they closed it. It's like, holy cow.
yeah, it's gonna be, well, the parking lots are gonna be huge in
Yeah.
the future for the events, because the big parking lot already, the one here is already a hit that they put in. 'Cause we did get to use it a little bit, and it's right at the top of those stairs. So budget, I know there was questions about budget, and I was hoping John would be here, but I do have, the budget is tentative budget is approved from the town board on Monday, so, but I have it up over here. On this screen, hopefully you can see, so I don't know exactly what questions you have, but I will say, I think most that this committee fell under capital maintenance projects. So this would be like the paths that we wanted at Pierce Park or Ononda. We talked about a basketball court, combo basketball court at Pierce. All those type of things did not make it through this year. So most of the things that and the capital improvements projects was focused towards, let's get the Ononda still needs a lot to get that done and kind of finish one project before we get a bunch of things going, kind of do. But all the maintenance and safety, of course, all the safety things, staffing, everything is on here. So,
did they, are we gonna be able to restripe outhouse parking?
yeah, yes. Yes, that was, on there. Matter of fact, I already started talking for an estimate with, a couple people to try to get those into us, so. We're just debating whether it could be fall or spring, but I think the suggestions and the people I've talked with, we should wait the spring because of just wait for the snow plows are gonna be,
Oh, yeah.
doing everything. If we wait, it'd be nice, new, fresh,
Right,
but we are wanting to restripe in the diagonal
herringbone parking,
parking
yeah.
pattern to get the maximum utilization. As well as to make sure that it stays ADA compliant with the 10-foot
Distance, yeah,
distance between, so that everything comes through. We may add one in the middle parking lot on the right hand side, which would be useful as well, but it's gonna be resealed. They recommended resealing and black out the current lines, because they will bleed through. And then they'll paint the lines. And should be no problem. And it did get funded in there as well. But all the truck replacements, we're trying to get mowers and trucks. Some of a lot of the stuff is 2012. We're trying to get them updated. One of our goals is to, as we get more things updated, to get them closer to like a 3 to 5 year window. Because we'll have a better resale value on those, and then keep some more in the warranty, so it's less expense on us and work on Zim's crew. So we've begun that with a couple extra mowers being replaced, couple trucks, a new truck purchased, the older UTV, we're gonna go ahead and replace that as well, so. I mean, a lot of things did go through, of course, all the staffing, safety stuff, some things to trial, kayaks and paddleboard trial programs, all of that went through. It's just kind of those bigger projects like putting paths in and any additional courts. And we had some money for, I think you guys mentioned about, like, we were talking about adding some additional trails and maybe a pocket park in Pearson. So all that, I just put everything on a proposal. It didn't go away. It's earmarked for next year, just so you know. So they basically put it a one, which means it stays in our system, but we'll readdress it next year and hopefully it'll be a better situation for those.
Is there any way that we could just locally without a big investment, mark a walking path around Pierce, or even get out there with a rotary mower where it's a big and bushy, and at least just have a path that people could see and walk on? And I know it gets pretty brushy on that backside, but
Yeah, we could.
pick a way through those pines, that we could keep mowed down and people could at least walk through it,
And that's kind of exactly what we said. We kind of do the start of a basic one ourselves,
Yeah, let
and-
people see that it's there and don't even.
Yeah.
Don't pave it, don't worry about anything right now, and someone down there walking their dog's gonna be like, oh, wait, I can go all the way around here, that type of thing.
Yeah, and go through the pines and come
Yeah.
around, and they're just concerned about poison ivy. There's a lot of poison ivy there, but we do have someone on the highway that's certified to take care of that, so we could have that done along the path. If they wander off of the path, he probably.
They're on their own. Jamie would get poison ivy.
Well, I'll tell you what, by the culvert pipe over there, that was the best raspberry patch.
Oh, yeah.
We go down there and we pick bushels and bushels. It really cuts right in. So if you can cut through that and keep it,
Yeah.
like it's, we've been doing it for years now.
Is there any other questions about that? We did get a little bit more money to continue to improve the softball field, you know, basically maintenance, all the maintenance stuff, all went through. We got a lot of the trial stuff as well. It just, I mean, all in all, pretty good. Of course, all our contractors are there with the increases that are needed to keep everything running. So, did that answer everything, Mark, that you were hoping to, maybe?
Yeah, just, in the past, what Lindsay had done is she kind of shared that initial spreadsheet with us at well, it was the July meeting, which didn't work out timing wise. You know, and it was just like, hey, here are the things where, you know, that she had in mind, and then we just kind of threw those around a little bit and. So,
The ADA map that was mentioned in here is on there for the beach. I think
Yeah.
Someone really felt strongly about that, so. Other than like some of the safety things or any things that were, you know, we are moving forward, it's just the small projects.
and I just think it was timing that, you know, it's something we could have discussed if you were at the, you know, just the timing of how the July meeting worked out and with us not doing an August meeting and things like that, so. No, that's good, so,
So that's,
AEDs are over $3,000.
well, we need an outside bot, the one that automatically
Oh,
opens, you know what, the ones that we have. So we wanna put one at Motion Junction pumps.
Yeah,
And
pretty good idea.
We have a child and an adult, probably any part needs it,
I was gonna say, yeah.
it's there, isn't it? So. Donation tree bench update, we have been getting some requests, but we're also. At max capacity on a couple of places, schoolhouse. We got a tree request, but once we talked with the tree committee, there's no room to put one. Or a potential tree that could come down and then we could do that. And same with the park benches. We just got the last one for Miller Park that we're installing for someone, for a memorial, and then. There's more than enough benches, then we can stop every.
so we should probably pull the ad from the newsletter that goes out every month.
Well, we've already updated on the website to take those off as of this week.
Okay,
As soon as I found out that we weren't gonna be able to put any more, that it's not the sheet that they fill out and they
Yeah,
circle
yeah.
where they want, we've taken those off.
okay,
But just letting you know, they're max capacity there, so. Some people did say other suggestions, since there's so many people who want to donate things and put plaques on it. Someone said, it would be, you could do Adirondack chairs at the beaches. Put memorial things on there. I was like, you know, the nice outdoor ones.
Yeah.
They're pretty expensive. I was like, and so many people are interested in donating memorial things, so just a thought. I was like, good.
Hollywood.
And then on to the topics of discussions. I know there's a lot of these, Mark, and you know, I put yours on here too, so just have them on one page, so hopefully we get it.
oh, awesome,
But field reservation fees, so, yeah, I know Lindsay had mentioned to that as well. So
Yeah.
If you look at, and I did pull some budget reports for the summer. That you had asked as well, so I have those, but if you look at the field reservation fees, there hasn't been any for the past 2 years, so.
but no one's even reserving the fields.
No, actually, we did have some reservations that they all pulled through. The soccer went to Finger Lakes to use their field. And the YMCA was doing had reserved for flag football in the fall. They only had like 2 participants, so they canceled. So, but other than that, we really haven't been getting a ton of reservations to use the fields. I mean, people go out and independently use them, but.
I think maybe the discussion then would be with Lindsay, because it was she brought it to us
Oh, okay.
to add a fee. I don't know, I guess if we're not,
I know, yeah.
let's not create more work if it's not. I don't know, do we put that on hold? Until
I
it
was saying,
becomes,
like, nobody's fighting for it, then why do we, yeah. Cause I would say a fee was because we have so many people that wanna use it, like,
Right.
let's make sure
right,
people are gonna show up, but if we're not having anybody.
Yeah, Castle reached out and you know, somehow we're able to work in it at the Finger Lakes Community College, which is. Probably a great,
Or do we just have that information on file that if you are gonna reserve, there will be a fee? Lindsay had said she had mentioned to the YMCA and had said that we would be adding a fee.
okay, I will, make a note of that.
I mean, we were thinking, a nominal fee of $20 an hour.
If you profit.
And it would only be charged to groups like Youth Lacrosse, Castle. If you're charging the people to play or to be a part of that group, then you would have to, pay. If you and I said, hey, let's bring the family over Thursday, let's reserve, the basketball court or a field, we wouldn't be charged to reserve. It would only be any group that profits from their, or that charges for participation.
Yeah.
But do we say $20 an hour just to have? Well, I think part of it, what we were trying to end was groups would reserve
Mhm.
a field from June until October every night and use it, twice a week. And this would at least tie them into, hey, you're really gonna, if you've got at least $20 in the game, you're only gonna take what you need.
Makes sense, yeah. And, we're looking for ways to, obviously looking to get revenue and get in our fields that we maintain and take care of. Put things in to improve them, so.
So, I mean, what do you guys think? Do we,
I still have the stipulation there, so if you do have an organization. but
then it
the
is
vast
on
majority-
file,
The
right?
vast majority of people still aren't gonna have to pay, so it's not like
Right.
you're turning away like just town residents, yeah, I'm fine with.
So could you just investigate what it would take or pass along that we would be comfortable with? And Lindsay was gonna check with, maybe it's the same Firefly,
Yeah.
what worked easy and
Yeah, that'd be my next step is the clerks who manage the Firefly, but they seem to be able to. With the reservation, that's what it would go through and they can put whatever we want in there, but.
$20 an hour? I mean, that's in par with what, or in line with what other communities charge?
Who's playing in those fields?
It'd be Castle, it'd be Canandaigua Youth Lacrosse, it would be
YMCA.
YMCA. Yeah, I think the YMCA did use it on Sundays, because I know they had a flag thing there. They reserved it and they lined it on Sundays this past. When were they down there?
I
Trying to
haven't
think.
seen anyone use it in all year. I haven't seen anyone else.
Yeah.
Everything that was on there ended up getting canceled. But they
Yeah.
didn't get participation.
Well, I helped Mike Smith line it. He said he was lining it for the Y, so.
So the athletic director that was doing that reached out and said they only had like 2 people for their fall flag football.
Yeah.
So they were pulling it.
This was young kids,
Oh,
like 4 or 5 year olds. So I'm not really sure. I thought it was through the Y, but
The Y should definitely have to pay to use those fields.
so yeah, if you could just investigate, $20 an hour, you need it for 2 hours on Thursday night, you run it for your 2 hours. And this wouldn't be, if you're the coach of your own Castle team and you're like, hey, where can I go practice on Tuesday? As long as no one else had it reserved, you wouldn't need to, right? I mean, that would be my understanding, but if Castle's holding their league games there and,
Yeah,
it would be for that type of, or their league practices and,
who's responsible for lining it? Is it?
in the past, Castle did when they used it. So did Youth Lacrosse when they used it.
So if you were just a random coach though, but for Castle. And you just brought your own little pop-up,
And you wanted to
Oh,
just use the field
use it.
because, right,
then that's,
this is my team. I need to find a corner somewhere.
do you reserve or do you just show?
Typically you just show up.
Okay,
I mean, that's what we always did, our kids, and
I'm
then,
thinking like if a coach did call and say, hey, I'd like to reserve the field. Well, who are you through? I'm through Castle, but I'm not through Castle. I don't know. I could see it just getting
Yeah.
dicey as to you do charge them or you don't charge.
great.
Hey, I'm just trying to.
I
be
know.
Preventative.
Well, let's put it in and see what.
Well, is that
happens.
coach getting paid? Probably.
No.
Yeah,
of course not,
so.
You know,
but if
and
that-
again, most of the leagues now with Castle are using FLCC, especially the travel leagues, because they use the turf. So.
Yeah,
That's what's happening more with,
and we were
You also have the
at
pickle.
Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I put that on there question mark, because I didn't know if we would,
Yeah, so
so.
just on the agenda items, it also says athletic fields, but then also pickleball reservation fees. So is that something we're thinking about? I don't wanna turn.
No,
it into
I
an
added
agenda.
that. I put that on the agenda, just when I knew we were getting the courts. The city of Canandaigua, you can reserve for a certain time of the day. You can pay to reserve the courts at Sonnenberg. So I think we get them open and we see what happens.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
And then if it becomes,
Mhm.
I think they do training, or maybe there's some trainers come out or that work at certain windows that they block off for that training, yeah.
I would view the fields the same as the pickleball court.
That's
So
what-
if there's no demand, why are we putting a fee on it? Because no one, they might see a fee and be like, never mind. See if, get them using it, see who's interested, and then I think we attach the fee later.
so,
If there's a demand, if they're like.
so do you think we don't do anything even for
I
any?
don't think we should do anything right now for the
Okay.
fees for that field that didn't get used all summer because we didn't have any participants to do it. Now, all of a sudden, the competition gets hot and people from YMCA and everyone want
I
to work castles like we got kicked out. Well, now I think it's worth looking at it.
I think we're gonna see the Y wanting to use those fields at Outhouse more and more.
I think
I
we
guess-
should just charge them.
Well, or,
They use Onanda and like we have a deal with them, right?
well, I think that needs to be discussed as well, that deal with Onanda, but,
Right. I
So-
think they're making out in that deal.
I think they're making out
To
great.
be honest.
Yeah.
But being there a little this summer.
So
But I
what,
didn't see Outhouse, so I don't.
what do we wanna do? Do we wanna add a athletic field reservation fee? Or hold on it? I'd like to have it on the books and then see,
Keep it on the books. I just I don't think we can move forward on that right now, due to the fact that there's no one paying it.
but
If it
what
was-
has to happen is it has to be in the fee schedule for it to happen. So we've gotta, by January, the 1st of January, add $20 for an athletic field reservation.
And if nobody comes along to use it, then that's
That-
fine,
right.
but if
But
somebody
it
comes
is,
along.
on the books.
There.
If we ran into a problem in March, it'd be hard to go back and address. If the Y or if Castle or someone comes in March and says, hey,
Right,
you
that's
know,
free,
and then the
so-
Y is like, no, we've already reserved that for flag football. And
Yeah,
I mean, they had some pretty serious use ideas for using those fields and
yeah. Then if it's gotta be, yeah,
I think we should add the athletic field for now, not worry about anything with the pickleball or any other court, just athletic fields.
let them fend for themselves, fight over pickleball.
Mhm.
Well, if it becomes an issue,
Hopefully, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're putting it in for. We'd love if they
yeah.
were out there
And then we maybe
camping out to claim.
look at what the city does at Sonnenberg, how they charge and
Yeah.
things like that. So, but yeah, if we could just, is $20 an hour, I mean, that's
think-
what,
I think
That-
Victor,
that's what-
Victor's
yeah.
actually 25, I think. Parrington is 20, I mean,
20's good.
there's other ones that have a sliding fee, I think just $20 an hour, and then if you need it for 2 hours, you get it for two, you give your $40. Okay.
The next one was the summer rental fee, so I just give you the handouts to look, so you could look at it. But of course, looking at it, 2024 to 2025, you're gonna see the decrease in the payments, obviously, but there's a couple of things, it's not apples to apples, so with Uplands being closed, you'll quickly see that, like,
Are they are we
Is
looking
it
at
on Firefly, the
Oh,
Firefly
yeah,
thing
two
too?
different pages?
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
did I just give you the one now? I have? Oh, what's 2025?
One,
There's
Yeah.
20.
yeah, you should only have two, one
Oh.
will say
Oh.
At the top.
May
Gotcha.
25,
Yeah,
2024.
right.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes. And so you can line them up in
Okay.
comparison if you and look across, but
Mhm.
of course you'll see some zeros this year, so there's your
Right.
there's your big one, so like Adzilla, 0 this year because it was closed due to the Uplands project. So it's hard to compare last summer to this summer, I don't know what we were exactly hoping to gain out of it, but another big one is King Hall, because King Hall's a big several $1,000 rental that was 0. this year because of it. And just so you're aware, another one, Schoolhouse, was being used by our codes enforcement team and was off the books for until August. So-
Actually, my biggest, I wasn't as concerned, and really this ties into, the YMCA summer camp. My big concern, and again, I had some discussions with some people down at Onondaga. The impact of the YMCA summer camp on people that rent cabins lakeside, being able to use facilities lakeside. The YMCA uses, what they use Gorham, they use, what else do they use lakeside for their summer camp?
Well, they'll use the pavilion, Rotary Pavilion, Crouch Hall sometimes, but we're available if it gets rented, then they don't use it, you know. So it's like when it's not being used,
So
but
So they don't use those buildings, like, I could call up during the summer, and if I wanted to rent Crouch Hall Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It's not blocked out for the YMCA to be using?
The ones that were already in there now, so at some point, they did block them off, just because. There, but all the ones that had Crouch Hall or, any of the halls that they wanted to use Gorham or anything like that for a bigger event. If someone had it, that has the priority, but then,
At what point does the Y take over and say, nope, it's mine? Like, is that what you mean? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess,
if it's available and it's not being rented, then they do it, and they brought in they hired a cleaning crew this year, they were saying, compared to last year, because that's always, and it still was, I'll be honest, even with it, I got pictures with even though they had hired cleaning ones, they're not happy with how well they're cleaned. But
I think, for me, there's a bigger picture. I think we need to evaluate. I don't know, are we at the end of our 3-year agreement? We have one more year.
So, but it's a good time to, I mean, obviously have discussion, because we've got one more year.
And again, I know, I think I just missed you one day down there. You were talking to Jeff, and then I talked to Jeff Winter one day.
Mhm.
But things like, what time is drop off for kids down at,
8 o'clock or so, they start.
or even earlier? I thought 7:30.
There were kids there at 7 when I was in the watershed camp.
So there's, you know,
Handful.
we're renting cabins to these people on vacation, and all of a sudden there's 100 kids at 7 a.m. You know, or 7:30,
yeah,
by
by
8
8.
o'clock.
By
I don't know if we've considered enough the impact that the camp is having on the town residents' use and the renters' use of the facilities. So when this was first added, we were told we would evaluate it. I guess I'm asking that we have an evaluation. I don't know what sort of mechanism we want to use to do that evaluation, but I don't want to just move ahead with renewing that contract. I mean, if the town board wants to do that, that's fine, but you know, again, but from
it's gotta look into it.
our job is, when we get feedback from the public, is to pass that on, and some of the feedback that I've gotten is that it changes the flow down at Onondaga. I mean, looking at their numbers, I mean, over half of the campers aren't even Canandaigua residents, you know?
It's a little less than.
On a typical day, how many
So that's the total numbers on the,
Yeah.
on the left-hand side of the whole time that they were open, so if you use those uniques, I mean, they're not clearly there every day. It varies, the groups weren't too big at that I saw, you know, most of the time when I was going down. We're talking hundreds, you know. Smaller, 30, 50. But some of those, I think we're getting, there are buses that come in from the school.
Right,
And other things.
right.
And so sometimes there are a lot of people there, but that's not all of the walk. It's the buses and school programs. And when they reserve those those pavilions and things, they'll put on there and we try to, that's how we put enough staffing there, because if there's 100 people coming, then we need to have lifeguards to, you know, appropriate numbers and stuff like that. And to be honest, sometimes they would say 20 and still 100 come, and we got caught a couple times
Yeah.
too, so. And had to pull people in, so it's not always perfect on that either. But yeah, so I mean, most of the cabins by there look pretty dollar wise, pretty comparable to me that were available over the summer. This is the summer season when they were there.
Right.
There's not much difference. Some of them actually from 24, 25 went up, like a boat, you know, so
Well, I mean, some, looking at,
from a finance, or at least from the rent.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that people aren't feeling that way and communicating that, because I've heard it too, be a couple people in for Jeff.
but I think maybe a total, like, I don't understand, I guess, I think some of the issue is maybe the wraparound care part, the babysitting part of it. It's all, I wonder if, what time does their programming typically start? Closer to 9?
Yeah.
So typically the kids that are there from 7 to 9, it's almost like maybe the Y could find somewhere else for their wraparound care and then use our facilities. I don't know, I would be upset if I rented a cabin and at 7 o'clock in the morning, there's, you know, 100 kids running around. And again, maybe that number's, you know, not a good number. Maybe it's,
It is, but there are kids around, yeah, but I also see what you're saying, could they not meet somewhere else on the upland, you know, we're gonna have a whole new uplands next year, so.
Or just one pavilion that's.
or maybe the bus doesn't leave the Y until closer to 9 o'clock. You know, maybe they,
Oh, this is drop off.
or maybe they use Outhouse Park for their drop off and then closer to the start of programming. And I don't know if this is true either, but I heard people talk about cabin renters that said they weren't able to use the restroom because the Y camp was blocking off the restrooms and wouldn't let anybody in the restroom.
That is true. They will not let you and an adult in that room and those kids are in there.
Oh,
Those kids are in there.
So I mean, but those are concerns that, those are impacts on town residents and renters.
Yeah, when I was at Watershed Camp, I was walking right through these front lawns being like, well, there's people still trying to sleep in there.
Right.
And there's kickballs bouncing, there's our kids coming down, there were kids around the cabins.
I saw you were doing.
Yeah, we were doing the Watershed Camp
Yeah,
for that one
Watershed.
week.
Yeah,
And our kids, we for the first time put in wraparound care and we were getting kids 8:30, I think, if I remember correctly, and we were down by the lake and there were people that were down sitting by the water in the morning. And most of the time when the kids showed up, they would get up and leave. Some people were on blankets like back in the shade, and you could tell they didn't have as much space as I think they wanted to have. And they were renters from the cabins.
I think this year, most people who want a little bit of space would have been at the uplands, but it wasn't an option. I know I had some folks that we moved from the uplands down who were not happy to
Really?
be down, but they like the privacy.
Sure.
mhm.
And of being up there, so some of those.
But there's less privacy now because of the Y camp.
But there's no option to go to the uplands, but hopefully that will be back and have more, but I also understand and the wear and tear on the facilities, particularly our game room, and I can't say if it's the Y or the school groups, but
Yeah.
I mean, we had windows busted out, by accident, you know, and some of the equipment that we've had to put back together and. But it's definitely, but I can't point a finger to who, but kids.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
but just mass use of it, but there is, when you ask, there are maintenance costs or things, yeah, and damage.
Well, and the septic lines like that
We
was,
did have a couple that, times where we had to call septic
yeah.
because of too much.
So I guess that, I'd like to somehow add that to, we would like.
Can you get a survey to the people when they register, like when they're leaving, they fill out a survey on their experience and their, like everyone who rents, could
Like
could
this
we
there.
ask?
Like this,
Renters.
2020.
For the renters for 2026, when they rent, there's a little link to a couple question survey they take. And they can share their thoughts. Cause if this is the final year, we have
Yeah.
one more year to collect that from them
You're right.
before we.
And now's the time to think what we want to.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might almost be too late. I'm just wondering when the Y is gonna wanna be re-upping that. You know,
You know,
will they be
should have been
looking?
this year probably, right? We should have done it this year to
Right.
get the feedback from the renters
Right.
this year. In some sort of little survey.
But I mean, maybe that's something you could discuss with John and Jared and say, you know, there are some concerns and. You know, we kind of like to discuss the programming before, you know, we just went ahead and
Oh, sure,
And-
absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, there's, as long as we do have another year, I was thinking that it was already up,
No.
but.
Yeah, cause I had to do the budget for next year. so
Yeah.
that was In there, so I had to ask that question myself. The food truck regulations and costs, I know that was certainly a bit of a challenge, so. I know you've talked about that prior to as well, Mark.
Jared had mentioned, do we try to set up a meeting in October or something and invite, the Cook's Kitchen and C&B Roasters and any of those food trucks in and have a meeting possibly even with Mike Murphy? And I mean, those food trucks have basically said, if we have to do what's on that list, we're not gonna set up at your 4th of July fireworks. I mean, that's a big one that I think we're looking for.
Well, we did, I know there was discussions about lowering the fee.
I think that's, yeah.
And
That's gotta go, I think, probably like the ordinance committee or something, right? Is there a reason we charge a fee when it's an event that the town sponsors?
it's just to get the fees to get for getting a license through the town, cause they can go and then sell the other thing and make money off of it, so it's just the work that they have to do to the paperwork and things of that, and that was a fee. So, I mean, I do think when we questioned it, is that fee a little much, there wasn't. Could be lower, I think, for sure, so.
In my mind, when we invite the food trucks to our concerts and our movie nights, we're asking them to do us a favor by making our event better, and then we turn around and we charge them, you know.
And this year we waived that fee.
Yes.
Jared. did,
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Which I think was good, especially with the increase of those. Things that wasn't there the previous year, maybe they were there, but they were being implemented.
I think they came in January 1st.
Yeah, January
Yeah.
1st. So, and I know I've talked with Mike and he was thinking about setting up prior to in the spring, like. A day where people can just come and get that all pre-done ahead of time. I know. They're saying the requirements aren't, the codes are showing that it is a requirement, and so other places should be doing it too. So that's that one challenge thing about some of those lines and stuff that it's listed, that I know folks were having a hard time getting appointments to get that done. And I know this year they kind of were considering that,
Right, right.
but we do need to talk with Mike, and I agree, but I plan to as well, and I don't wanna wait until the last moment, that was tough, and I know that was the situation we really had to deal with, and we got through it, and it was fine, got to know the people, that was good.
Yeah, yeah.
But been nicer under more less stressful situations to get to know them, but because it was challenging, I agree. And no, great suggestion, I think, I'm with you guys about lowering the cost or continuing exempt to the ones are inviting in. I'm happy to pass that suggestion along as a, suggestion for me and you guys to.
I think some of the discussion back when all this was happening was to do one idea was a per event fee.
Mhm.
So rather than $350 for the year, I mean, we had a food truck that came once. You know, they didn't make $350 that night.
I think it's 250, but, or.
I think it was $350 in the fee schedule, yeah,
Really?
yeah. But I mean, we had thrown around the number, $20 for a one-time event,
Yep.
which I think that's what the city does maybe, or some other local. Their fee was $20. You could buy a season for like 200 or 250, and you could do a one-time for like $20. So, I mean, we'd have to make a recommendation to the,
Exactly.
what's that group? Ordinance committee, so. But again, that's something we should be focused on before January 1st to
Yes.
see where they're at. If you could kind of get an idea from, I don't know who, Jared, or I don't know who would be the person to talk to, or,
And Mike, clearly, and
So,
we have had that preliminary
yeah.
discussion, so. I don't think they'll be surprised to see that we want to push that from Park and Rec committee to streamline that. I think that.
I'll touch base too I'll reach out to the ordinance committee just to say what, check. Yeah, that's really all I had with I don't know what else, it's up there, so.
When the fireworks at Outhouse, you were just wanting an update.
Just kind of just to make sure that we're,
We allocated, line, actually more, we increased that to 25,000 in the budget for the fireworks / sesquicentennial, event.
celebration.
That we're working on pulling a committee together for that, which if anyone wants to be a part of that, is for me. And I will be, kind of leading that committee as well, so.
So that is happening. I feel like it's this summer when Jared was there. We were at an outhouse and he was suggesting it, but not saying it was happening. Right? That the fireworks were 4th of July.
I don't know if it had been 100% decided 2 months ago that the town was doing it, or,
So is it 100% decided now?
Well, we're using the Halloween
Oh,
as a. See how
Test.
how it goes.
With lots of
Can we
people.
Handle that, and, we're hoping with the striping of the lines and, the parking concerns and. That we would have such potentially a large number of folks, we're just. We want, I think the desire is there, but there's always this concern, we probably would have to get spillover parking, maybe some busing to do this, because. There would be a lot of people, but. I think the interest in the evaluation is headed that way.
has that, whatever group is gonna form that committee? Have they had any meetings or any discussions, or there's really not?
This has to do, no, but we have people, we're just waiting, Jared's gonna actually point those, and we're gathering some folks and waiting there, so, but we have some interest that.
And again,
together, But no formal meeting.
okay, the food truck thing ties into that as well. I mean, if we're looking to have a big celebration with 8 or 10 food trucks or 4 or 5 food trucks, that committee needs to be aware that last minute, there could be
Yeah.
issues with a food truck that only comes to Canandaigua once isn't gonna drive to Syracuse to get their hood inspected, So we could have trouble finding food trucks if we don't get on that quick, I think.
Good, thank you.
But yeah, I just put that on there just so we don't lose track of it
Yeah.
and know that it's
we're-
coming, so.
we're Kind of have the group kind of pulling together, we just haven't had any official meeting, but, Leaf being the historian will be a
Yeah.
part of it, I know the Ontario County. Historian will probably be a part of it as well, so it'll be definitely that historical aspect of it, and, sounds like we can pull together something really nice.
And the fireworks are being set off from what, behind the civic center there?
Up on the hill, up on Strikers Fields up there.
Oh, okay. So people parking, they could park at YMCA, they could have parking behind the civic center. If they're coming for the
If
celebration,
they're having a shuttle.
they come right to our house but if they're coming just for fireworks. They have that we have plenty of options for the park, I think.
Yeah, we're thinking that hopefully with that, those other agreements, using some of that to send as the city, so,
Would be okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you could go
Don't
to-
ask too much of them.
Right, well, that's the issue.
Okay, all right.
But, yeah, no, I think it's exciting, exciting. stuff,
Yeah.
You know, and, yeah. The senior program, what'd you have about?
I just, Karen likes to always have that on there and we always ask her for an update.
Yes,
So-
the senior, current senior group is going well, and every Thursday is a solid group that comes and uses that. We did put in the budget for some senior, trial senior exercise program or some, maybe some senior yoga trials. I talked to them and asked what they wanted, and that did not come up as
Yeah.
a desire.
A new deck of cards, did they want a new deck of cards? in the
Yeah,
village?
maybe help a bus trip somewhere. I was hoping they would say that because that's my strength, coming from, my path. But we may still try it, and even if it's not from that group. Like even when we started at the VA, it started a very small group and then, the groups were very big. But
This group's held pretty steady, it seems like, about
How many are there?
8 to 12 on a given,
that would be a high number, but yeah.
Yeah.
six to 10.
But they're pretty consistent. We buy them, snacks and cards. And I think they enjoy it. We set it up for them.
And a couple of them are town residents. So,
And they do walk and stuff.
Yeah.
So this was get a little bit extra.
yeah,
Mhm.
They're doing something.
Yeah, they go and walk the trail, so that's nice. Yeah. No, it's a good, and they're very, very lovely people.
Where they made it outhouse.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I didn't have much else really. That was,
You said
oh.
The meeting schedule.
Um,
What was your?
well, we don't technically meet again until it would be December 10th. Are we good with that, not meeting? I mean, it's September, October. Is there a whole lot?
Is there anything we need to
I
figure
mean,
out?
there's a
before
couple of
January
things we
1st?
need to maybe discuss with what was, really the big thing would be the, things for the fee schedule for January 1st. And really putting off, knowing that there's another year of the Y thing that doesn't become quite as pressing. I was thinking that was restarting again this year. I mean, do we need to meet before December 10th to?
Halloween's pretty self-explanatory, right? We set up a table, we show up, kids come by. That used to be a big deal when I first
We
showed
could-
up, right?
We were
had
making
the-
candy
we were packing
bags.
Candy, these kids are.
Last year, but my concern is it's gonna be bigger, there's gonna be a lot more kids than at Ononda, because I think it's a lot easier to get.
They'll
to
Mhm.
just, they'll just
Mhm.
walk over from the development.
Well, because the city's
yeah,
right
over
before
it.
as well, so if you think
Right,
they're doing theirs and then ours is right after, so.
you didn't wanna drive 15 minutes to Ononda once the city one finished, but. But I think a lot of people are gonna drive 4 minutes. They're gonna go down to the one at the city and then they're gonna come up, so I think we need to be just prepared for.
An extra candy.
So we could probably do that through some emails with who's gonna be available and a setup and a tear down and. Now, in the past, Lindsay provided, she used Parks budget to buy candy.
Oh, for the Parks Committee,
Yeah,
out of your budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you just wanna check with her what she did with that
Sure.
and then she just bought bags and bags and bags. We planned on 400 kids. I wouldn't be surprised if we had 600 kids this year.
Cause you have money left over from, because you're not gonna spend, I mean, all the money we dedicated for music and stuff is
Yeah.
done, so we can use. I'll check on that.
Okay. But yeah, so if we just plan on having some candy and last year we didn't put it in bags, we dumped it in a big bowl and when kids came through, they got 2 or 3 out of our hand into their bags.
And this is trunk or treat, so,
Yeah.
However you wanna decorate it, or if you wanna do it then, I mean, that's fine too. I think most people are trying to have we're having a little competition in-house. Who has best decoration.
Yeah.
and stuff. for the town, so there's 4 or 5 departments in on that, but. I think it'll be good as long as the weather holds up.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun and decent weather.
And I think going forward, the next year down at Ononda with those bigger parking lots, it's gonna be that much easier down there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge change, and we won't have so many issues with people parking on the roads and.
So our house is just a 1-year thing until we get on to bed.
Yeah.
And up, okay.
Because there's no parking at Ononda with the
Yeah.
uplands closed.
Yeah.
Just some other, just quick things that I had written down here. What are your thoughts on a big kayak rack at Ononda? Is it needed?
The big one
Yeah.
that was donated? There was a question of that, we said if the big one, we'd go in the back corner behind, like the sheriff's one where we could store stuff, or if the bigger one could potentially. Rent people's space, like $10 a month, you can throw your kayak there, so you don't have to drag it, but as far as out. By where we would use it, we were thinking of getting some small ones. So is that kind of?
Well, no, it was about the big one. I know
Big one?
I had just heard some concerns about. I hadn't seen any pictures of it. I didn't know what it was like or,
I mean, it's aluminum heavy.
Yeah.
What, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 12? Pretty big. And there was concern about the size of it.
do you share the concerns?
I mean, it is large, I wouldn't put it front and center in the middle.
Yeah.
Other thing, because it would block your view, so, but I think tucked away in the right place, if it fits in there, for the storage of them could be good. Or you get the smaller ones like the Y has that they have there, but we have in the budget a couple trial to try paddle boards and, life jackets for everything, but kayaks. Paddle boards, we have some that could be donated, some people wanna donate stuff to you, so.
So are you talking about this rack being holding kayaks that we would rent or just personal use?
Correct.
But if
Or
you're-
both if we didn't have enough.
Because if you're running your rentals out of what's the game room now, you could walk right around the back and have your kayak there by the sheriff. You just have to figure out where you're launching. You'd have to carry it across the beach, right? You can't launch off the sheriff's
Or we're talking about getting some small ones that they could.
right
buy
there.
a big, but we
Yeah.
wouldn't put a big massive.
Makes sense to rent there, go out back right behind that building, get your kayak and go.
Yeah, I
It
just,
was a donation for us. but
Right.
We still don't have it.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to get it up here, but. Aluminum building, Jim and I went and looked at it and everyone, I mean, it would cost a lot to purchase it, but it is large. Have you been to? Where would you see, I think it's down at the south end of the lake, Canandaigua, the Nate.
Fields construction down there.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it. I don't,
No,
is it sitting right by his building down there?
and,
Yeah.
but I think it's fine as long as it's not. Front and
Right, yeah.
center, and it would be more of the off storage and then probably something smaller that for the day use, that would be more convenient down in front,
Yeah, that was the only other thing that it,
About maybe building a small one ourselves, cause Ben, the king with he's a 20-some year, carpenter, so. I mean, he got skill, and actually, he was with the school as well, so he striped fields and he brings that skill too, so.
was he Ben,
Loomis.
Loomis, yeah,
was he Canandaigua school?
no, it was wasn't Canandaigua.
Okay, as I say, I didn't recognize the name.
But so some additional skills that certainly we can use for the things we discussed, so.
So any other, I didn't have any other,
No. I think we had a pretty good list to go through, things to discuss, so it was good. Hopefully Rand was able to provide with everything that you wanted or needed.
so you'll touch base then just to decide how we would add that $20 fee and how the clerk's office would handle it.
I'm sure that they can do it.
It's like renting a pavilion,
Exactly,
you just put in the hours you want, I would imagine, and
but you see, it's actually on here, you see the zeros, OH field 1 on your back. OH outfield 1, AM, PM, Pierce Field, but they're zeros. So there's, it's already in the city.
budget. So maybe they did start working on that and it never,
We just
So
didn't
either
have
no
the
one
papers.
in the past few years actually paid for it, or.
well, there was never a
we
fee
never-
set.
We never set the fee.
Yeah, we never set a fee.
But it's allocated on the Firefly,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I don't see, I'm not.
so that sounds easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus the fee in, right?
yeah, for the. And I will touch base too on numbers for maybe a permit cost and what would have to happen to change that. So what's our best course to try to set something up with the food trucks? Again, my biggest fear is we're gonna hit July 4th and the local food trucks, from my interaction with them, is they're hesitant to participate in town of Canandaigua events.
These would be done by spring at the latest, I think. But, we gotta, I mean, but we gotta get Mike.
Yeah.
That's there.
Yeah, so I will see where Jared, he had brought that up at our last meeting, so I'll see where he wants to go with that. It is puzzling that every food truck, two-way truck says, we don't have to do this anywhere else that we set up. That's the part that makes me scratch my forehead. So,
Well, and for someone trying to get into the game and start their small business, they come in to get their name out there. They don't, they want that, pay that $20 fee just to get their name out there. They don't wanna sign up for the whole year. But we hope there's competition between the food trucks. The food will get better and the prices will drop and people will come out more for it.
I like your suggestions in this, the day fee, all of that.
Day fee, yeah.
It is all good if someone is just coming to our events, you know, and. I mean, that seems like a pretty reasonable.
I know like Cooks set up and they did the wrestling cornhole tournament. They set up and they used Outhouse Park for that.
Yeah, and they've done, I think that they've done some other. things.
They've done some weddings and graduation parties down in Ononda and,
Cause so once you get the fee, I mean, it is benefiting.
yeah,
I mean, once you got the permit, because now you can do other stuff.
Wherever, yeah.
So, I mean, there is benefit to that financially for them, but what amount is that? Do we give it to them because they came to our event and then now they're off? I mean,
again, if we set up, I mean, maybe if it's a town sponsored event, we waive the fee. You know, but if it's a graduation party at a town park, then they still have to pay the fee. You know.
Private versus
Right,
public.
and how-
No one can come to that graduation party.
right.
You can go to that public event.
But like the cornhole thing was public,
Was
but it wasn't sponsored. It wasn't a
Anybody
town
could show up?
sponsored.
Right.
It was pouring rain. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Pouring rain that day.
That usually
Yeah.
is that, you know, not
So.
for the,
But anyway, I will do some legwork on that too, and I'll check with Jared on
yeah.
maybe getting together and
And I'll start talking to Mike and.
Yeah.
Guys as well, so.
and I'll see the interest from the Cooks and Craig Harder about getting together just to go over that list and see if we could come to a consensus before next June. I'm assuming we want to move ahead with the same events next year. I mean, they're in the budget. I mean, we budgeted,
Yeah, we-
so 3 concerts and a movie.
Sure.
Randy said no bounce houses. Right, Poppy?
But we could do other stuff though, face paint or glow sticks or.
Hey, anything you wanna organize, go for it. Go for it.
Kids like the glow stick, that's what they would have, that would have been.
Mhm. I do.
Anything else, any other? Debbie,
No, sorry.
Jamie,
No,
Poppy?
no,
So if someone made a motion
I'll make a motion
that we do what?
that we
Adjourn?
adjourn this meeting until December 10th
Till December 10th,
at 6 P.M. Here, December.
December,
December.
because our every other month would jump into